Trev's 10 favorite marketing gurus / influencers. Here are my 10 top of mind marketers who have crushed it. Most of these are marketers in the recent years, and I've noticed that they've really inspired a new way of doing things in the marketing world. And let's start with number 10. Now, this one is a bit older, but the rest of the list is fairly fresh. But I had to include this name, David Ogilvy. David Ogilvy is like the father of advertising. He started it all with Ogilvy and Mather, and if you looked at his past and his history, anyone in marketing should understand and know where he's come from over the years and what he's inspired in terms of how to create advertising, how to create advertising agencies, how to create copy that stands out, and focusing on the customer and really basically describing to the customer, hey, here's what can benefit you, right? Not here's our product, but here are all the benefits to you. And he's really an important figure in the marketing world. So I had to include him, of course. The rest of these are fairly modern. Pat Flynn, he's really spearheaded this whole side hustle push to market side hustles, to promote side hustles, and his podcast is crushing it. So number 9, Pat Flynn. I'll try to run through this quicker. Number 8, Rand Fishkin, basically the SEO guru here. I mean, he's got Moz and a wonderful tool set for marketers to promote their businesses. Just a quick note that I forgot to mention. I'm including marketing gurus and influencers who are not celebrities, your actors, your models, basically the people who have teams and teams and teams of people to promote their brand. Things like singers, a lot of creative people perhaps have a marketing team or an agency that handles a lot of that. So when you're thinking, well, hey, why don't you include Justin Bieber? Because he has an incredible following on social media. And you could say he's an amazing marketer. Agreed, he probably has done amazing marketing, but he also has kind of a team, and he's a singer, and he's got a bunch of people that sort of look after the thing. So that was a side note that I forgot to mention at the beginning. Okay, number 9, 8, 7. Number 7, Neil Patel. Neil Patel is like the digital marketer extraordinaire. Anyone that wants to learn how to do digital / online marketing, he really has just blown it out of the water. He has an amazing blog, he has amazing content, and chances are, if you have gone on the internet and looked up marketing principles, you have come across his articles, because he's outstanding in terms of the sheer volume of content that he's got out there. Number 6, Tim Ferriss. And again, these are names that have come top of mind, right? They popped up in my head, and I'm like, yeah, he falls in this category. Tim Ferriss is that guy who's really described how automation could facilitate your business success. So this is why this whole 4-Hour Workweek book that he's created is super popular. A lot of people are trying to eliminate the day-to-day tasks in their business so they can enjoy their lives. And that book, when it came out, it really started that whole side hustle type push that Pat Flynn has pushed forward. Now, Tim Ferriss is incredible with how he has marketed his books over the years. I know he's first and foremost an author, but the marketing principles, they cannot go unnoticed. His blog is a tremendous resource for entrepreneurs, for people who want to learn. So, no brainer. That would be number 6. Number 5, Brian Tracy. Now, Brian Tracy, he's another like OG kind of guy. He's more of like a success expert, right? People know him as like the success / life coach kind of guy. But if you look at some of his videos on marketing, 4 strategies of marketing, I am really intrigued at the amount of views he gets for those marketing videos. And I consider him a great resource of knowledge in terms of the marketing principles, right? Just the whole general concept of marketing. So he's still been putting out videos to this day, and he's got to be in his 70s by now, so maybe even his 80s. So that's a guy, if you're looking for professional content, somebody who really gets business and marketing, I'm fascinated by his material. Again, it's a little bit more educational in nature and not so in your face like some of these other pieces, right? But these other names, they're a little bit more forward thinking. But for the foundational pieces, Brian Tracy. Okay, number 4, Seth Godin. Seth Godin really got me interested in marketing because I went to a marketing conference when I was like 24, 25, and his book was a free giveaway for the conference, and it was called Linchpin, and I read it, and I'm like, hey, this guy knows marketing. And he's been publishing books like every year. He's been putting out one book after another, and he is a devoted author. His blog, he's tremendously dedicated to his blog. So Seth Godin is like another marketing kind of OG guy, but he's still coming out with content, and he's still writing, and every marketing book that he comes out with, it changes the game. You got the Purple Cow, you got All Marketers Are Liars, and Everyone is Weird. I'm butchering some of the titles here, but he clearly loves marketing, and he's pumping out content that's really helpful about standing out, about being indispensable, about really creating that unique blue ocean strategy. Blue ocean strategies, just standing out is basically his push. And here's a guy who's like a philosophy major, right? It's not like he has a marketing degree, and he's a thinker. He's a real thinker in the marketing space. So it definitely a gem to have him on the list. I'd actually probably put him much higher, but again, he was only the 4th person to come to my mind. So yeah, number 3, Tai Lopez. Tai Lopez really did something innovative. He came out with an online ad that demonstrated you could be successful showing off a bunch of Lamborghinis in the background. And that ad is possibly the most popular online ad of all time, right? So here's somebody who's generated results. See, some of these other people, they're first and foremost authors, and then they talk about the marketing space. But Tai Lopez, here's this guy that comes along and he creates this video. I don't know if he's got a team working for him, if it's his ideas, but it sounds like it's stuff that he's come out with. But I mean, when you think about marketing gurus / influencers, Tai Lopez probably comes to mind. You'll remember the Lamborghinis. You'll remember him talking about his Ferraris. And he kind of changed the game for online ads. He made it interesting. And anyone that's creating online ads today is likely inspired by what he did, right? So he's got to get the credit. I don't know if he's really done too much else beyond that, but I mean, he's had a bunch of interviews with other successful business people, and he's talked to some incredible people, so he deserves credit where it's due here. Number 2, Grant Cardone. Ooh, this is going to create some controversy, but if you look at this guy, he's like a real estate guy, but he's really a sales and marketing guy. And he's just pushing content. I know half of the US is obsessed with Grant Cardone. Any person that you meet at a business conference will bring up Grant Cardone. This is a name that a lot of people know about. And I think he inspires a lot of people in terms of sales especially, but he's pumping out these videos where they're not super professional, but here's a guy who's very successful, hundreds of millions in terms of net worth, and he's pumping out these, they're low quality kind of videos, but they're popular. So he's doing something right, and he's just sort of being his authentic self, a very, very energetic guy, right? And that's great. I mean, he's got the personality, and he's crushing it every step of the way. Speaking of crushing it, let's just get into number 1 here. Gary Vaynerchuk. Here's a guy that I have to give tremendous props, because digital marketing today, social media marketing, content marketing, all of that has been influenced by what Gary V has been doing, and he continues to do. You might love him or hate him based on his motivational approach, his style, his swear words. There's a number of things that people don't like about him. The fact that a lot of the content might be general advice, right? But here's a guy who's built a successful marketing agency. Here's a guy who is practicing what he preaches. He is creating content. He has spearheaded this hustle culture in the world where working hard is the way to go if you want to be an entrepreneur. He has inspired every content creator today in terms of a big web of content that he's basically creating hundreds of pieces of content per day, and now I'm seeing other people doing that. Successful podcasters today have likely taken a page out of his book in terms of distribution of content, in terms of using social media effectively. I mean, Gary Vaynerchuk took Twitter and used it as a hustle, and he grew a massive Twitter following, right? So, I mean, love him or hate him, that's the first guy that came to my mind, and the reason why is likely because of all of the content he's created. Everywhere I go, I see him. LinkedIn, I've seen him on Facebook, I've seen him on Twitter. He's everywhere. So there is somebody who really understands marketing influence. And it would be very difficult to name anyone else who really tops that outside of, your typical actors, celebrities, people who have massive followings but don't talk about marketing, right? You got business people out there too that are quite successful and they have massive followings. But I have to go back to this list. I want to stay true to the marketing guru space. And that's my list of 10. Hope you enjoyed that. Like, comment, agree, disagree. I'd love to know if you got some names that don't fall on this list. Maybe we can throw them up there and talk about that. Because there's so many names in terms of marketing. I mean, Is the names are endless. I mean, this is just a small piece. Okay, till next time, bye.